Do you remember the time when we fell in love? Do you remember the time when we first met? This is the Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Let's talk about love. Now, whether you were in a relationship before and are single now, if you are dating in a courtship, or maybe even married, let me know if you feel what I'm saying. Have you ever felt that euphoric feeling towards your partner, one that you never experienced before, nor think you can attain again? They're the first thing on your mind when you wake up and the last thing on your mind when you go to sleep. You cannot stop thinking about this person. You couldn't stop thinking about them even if you tried. Does that sound familiar? Well, the artist Nolais captures these feelings perfectly on his new single, My Mind.
I know it ain't been long since I knew you. Time flies by when I see you. I'm a relapse every single time. Oh, I'm an addict when it comes to your love, I'm proud. Got me feeling like I'm on a cloud. Ain't nobody else allowed to feel this way.
Nolais is a multi-talented artist coming out of the UK, most known for his production. Although he's done features in the past with people like my man Crowded Places and Forest Fire, aka Justin Wyatt, and I did a review of one of Justin Wyatt's songs on my channel. You should probably go check that out and all that. If you're cool, you should probably go check that out. I don't know. I'm not saying you're not cool. Anyway, but on this song, My Mind, you get to hear Nolais' vocals. And I want to talk about this beautifully crafted song today. Now, I gave all that, my whole spiel in the beginning of this podcast when I first started talking about it, because this song tapped into the emotions. It tapped into the emotions for real. Now, this song, My Mind, is a R&B/soul song. That's what it's classified as when you look it up on Apple Music. And probably the same if you use Spotify, I would imagine. It's a very short song. I initially called this song the cuffing season interlude. Now, it's been about 10 and a half years since I've been in high school, but I don't think the young kids say cuffing season anymore. But back when I was in high school, they said this thing called cuffing season. Now, I don't subscribe to these ideas, but I'm going to give you my definition of what cuffing season is and or was. Cuffing season was when the seasons changed from summer, and then fall was coming, and then winter, the cold months. That's when everybody goes back inside. So these young people, they're out going to pool parties, doing this, living their best life during the summer. And then winter, it's almost like, I hate to use this term, but it's almost like you settle down. It's like you're settling down. I was like, oh man, I don't want to be lonely during the winter and woo woo woo. So it's that was my idea of what cuffing season was. So and that's just the label that I put it on. I'm not exactly saying that this song is for cuffing season, but I'm like, this is the cuffing season interlude, because you have somebody who's on your mind constantly, and that you have nothing else to do but think about them. But it might have been a bad example. I'm leaving that in this podcast because it just sounds good. Cuffing season interlude. And I called it an interlude because it's such a short song. It's a little less than a minute and a half long, but although the song is a minute and a little less than a minute and a half long, it packs a punch. It is so powerful. And these are the things that I want to discuss today. Now, the song is led by Nolais' vocals. You hear the guitar, and you also have these subtle background vocals or backup vocals. And I'll talk about the backup vocals first, because I listened to this song on Bluetooth, on my little Bluetooth speaker. I listened to it in the car. I listened to it with headphones. I even listened to it on the phone speaker. I played the song over and over and over and over again, and it did not get old. You understand? And the backup vocals were so subtle that I really had to I'm like, am I hearing backup vocals? Am I hearing background vocals? So although they were subtle, they were a beautiful addition to how this man was singing. But how was this man singing? Well, if you heard his verse on Crowded Places song, I believe it's called Touchdown. I can be wrong, but I thought it was called Touchdown, and talking about traveling and all this stuff. Nolais he's carrying a lot of testosterone. What do I mean by that? His voice is deep. His voice is deep. But you don't hear that on this song. I don't know if the vocals are pitched up, sped up, or whatever you producers, engineers, and musical people do. It's not exactly what I heard on this Crowded Places song. But what is not altered, what you cannot, you can't alter the emotion in the way that that Nolais is singing. Now, what is he singing about? The stuff that I talked about, all that mushy gushy, heartache, heart lovey-dovey stuff. I want to talk about some of these lyrics real quick. And I'm not going to say these lyrics verbatim, but he's saying that he can't get enough of this person, can't get them out of his mind. He said, I know it ain't been long since I've known you. Time flies by when I see you. He talks about being addicted to this person's love, feeling like they're on a cloud with this person. This person takes them high. Once again, maybe you've experienced this in the past. What does this make you think of? Maybe it makes you think of your ideal love. Maybe this is something that you want to experience in the future. You know? I'll tell you what it made me think of a little bit later. Let's talk about these lyrics some more. So I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but this made me think of the beginning stages of a relationship as well. I mentioned people being single. If you're single now, maybe you've experienced this in the past. Not all relationships that ended were necessarily bad things, especially in the beginning. When you're in those beginning stages, sometimes, you're talking and being caked up. That's all y'all think about, being all, you hang up. No, you hang up. Y'all just on FaceTime together, not saying nothing, that type of stuff. And you're constantly thinking about that person. You can't get them off of your mind. But he says, I know it ain't been long since I've known you. And that's why I think about that. Like, okay, this may be the beginning stages of a relationship, or this song may be specific to the beginning stages, or just simply meeting someone and having this instant connection. Time flies by when I see you. Time flies when you're having fun. It's like, it's almost like you start missing the person before you even leave their presence. One of those type things. Now, he talked about being addicted to this person's love. I'm addicted to your love. And something as simple as a line like that made me think of another R&B artists. Jodeci. They have a song, one of my jams, called Fiendin'. Take my money, my house and my car. A little hit of you, talking about. So they're comparing love to a drug in this song. I can't leave you alone. You got me fiending. Nolais says, I'm addicted to your love, talking about relapse, and you get me higher on cloud nine. He ain't say cloud nine, but I'm paraphrasing. So that's the effect that this love has on him, has had, whatever, on him in this song. So all of this in a minute and 20 something seconds. I think this was highly impressive. I think this cuffing season interlude gave us just a small glimpse of what I hope is to come. But music affects people differently. I try to cover things like, okay, maybe you experienced this before in a previous relationship. Maybe you're experiencing it now in a current relationship. Maybe you're in a marriage and it makes you think about the effect that your husband, wife had on you in the beginning. And that's what it did to me. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean. This song made me reminisce in a good way. So I remember meeting my wife, my now wife, and we started chopping it up, and for some reason for some reason I liked her. Of course I liked her. But for some weird, odd reason, she liked me back. I don't know. And we would have these conversations. We would have these long conversations on the phone, just talking about from music, our lives, our experiences. And it was something, as Nolais was talking about. Was he talking about this? Well, I talked about this. I'm over here like merging my life with Nolais' lyrics, but it was something I never experienced before. It was different. I never had as in-depth conversations with anyone. I haven't had in-depth conversations with anyone of the opposite sex. I'll say that because I got homies. We don't have deep conversations and stuff like that. But I never, on her part, I had never experienced that. Also, the level of maturity and self-awareness. So all this to say, when you're in those explorative stages, when you're like getting to know someone, it's like, what in the world? Like I said, the first thing on your mind when you wake up and the last thing on your mind when you go to sleep. And it's like, wow, is this the one? Turned out to be the one for me. But so I felt these bars. I'm calling them bars. I'm not even calling them lyrics anymore. These are bars. So I felt these bars. These bars hit me. It hit me in the thoracic cavity. Once again, it hit me right in there. So that's how it affected me. I gave my little personal experience. How did it affect you? What are some things that you enjoyed about Nolais' song? What are you looking forward to hearing next from Nolais? Would you like to see Nolais on the Cool Hand podcast? Do you want to? Can we get that interview? I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that interview soon. But all in all, to sum things up, this was a great song, a beautiful song, I'll say. I believe Nolais did an excellent job in capturing feelings, emotions, all while doing it in a short period of time. I'm really looking forward to what he has next. And if you couldn't tell, I was very excited to talk about this. This is the Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Thank you all for watching. And I'm out. Easy.